Now, if you are the extension of God on earth as, let's say, an Anwar tree. You've seen the Avatar movie. Gives you an idea. Or the tree of life. Then aren't you supposed to find an outlet or a way to extend yourself in your mind, like branches into newer ideas of self? Just like those branches reach out outwardly, affecting the matter all around you and I. So is how our mind affects the ethereal antimatter in the universe. And the reason why is that Yah is light, Yah is love, Yah is creation. And aren't we made in His image and likeness? And just as the source shines in us as lamps in the darkness, our crystalline silica conducts the frequency of that divine through organic fellowship. But the problem or the issue that could possibly contaminate that fellowship is our fleshly carbon bodies that fight between our primal urges versus our divine morality or our divine sense of self. See, that right there is the mark of man and our beastly nature. And that's exactly why Paul had a moment of introspection when he was able to not only discover, but almost identify with his own wretchedness. But the key is that he looked inwardly and strived to rise above that beast that is inherently inside of him. And there was a philosopher by the name of Carl Jung. He once stated that if a man who has not passed through the inferno of his own passions, he has never overcome them. See, willful ignorance is likened to be a slave, but walking in wisdom and understanding is godhood. As it's stated in Scripture that I am crucified with Christos, or Christ. Nevertheless, I live in the flesh. I live by faith of the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. See, the flesh indicates life viewed externally to life viewed more comprehensively. Because in some instances, it carries a sense of self, or maybe the idea that us humans do not have flesh, but are flesh. And that right there is our wretchedness. So instead of examining our conscience, our suke, our heart and soul, we hide it with fig leaves. That image, right? And betray it as a sense of self. See, Yahshua, the Christos, was referenced as flesh, but in his wholeness. And that's exactly why he survived death, Neo. See, the Spirit of Yah is in you. So finding that Christ or Christos gland within your mind is to separate from your primal outlook and introspection. and to discover one mind of tranquility and peace, even in the midst of chaos. See, the function in our subconscious should be used to bring it to the forefront of our consciousness, not to react, but to embrace reality in our Christos logic and rationale. So to have faith through our own frustration is key to keeping a stable and sound mind through all adversities. So that's why it was stated in the New Testament to count it as joy when you go through suffering. So the main question is when are you going to fight that Mr. Smith in you that's keeping you from your destination? That's why there's so many occurrences in a book that tells you to examine yourself. It speaks a lot on self-control and renewal of the mind. How does the mind get renewed? Well, it gets renewed through the Christos gland. Now, you would have to go back and look at the last 3 drops to get a better understanding of this message. Because when you put it all together, and I'm sure you're smart enough to take notes and to think and reflect and to play this back, I want you to comment. I'm sure you're going to have something rather profound, something that's reciprocal. This is the Ice Turner experience. Now, it's often imitated, but never duplicated. See, there's only one original. Now, if you go back to the beginning, to where I started, and listen to this now. I urge you to binge watch the material to see. And once you do that, I want you to look around and tell me how many content creators have I influenced. That's why I talked about the masculine principle being wisdom and being steady and sturdy in it. Because if you look at it from the Hebrew, wisdom is it's Ab, right? Father Abraham. So within the last 6 months, I basically have created the Abraham effect.